Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the North Brookfield Public School Committee to order. Please rise for the allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, as you know, we've had recent changes in the composition of the school committee. So tonight, we're going to start with the reorganization of the committee. I want to extend a warm welcome to Maggie Woodward, who is our newest member, also to Kristen Giangrande and Matt Grant, who were already welcomed earlier this summer, but I want to welcome the full committee tonight. So the purpose of this portion of tonight's meeting is to conduct our reorganization, and as the first order of business is to elect our new chair. So I will now open nominations for the position of chair of the North Brookfield Public School Committee.
I nominate Matt Grant.
I second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll move to proceed to a vote.
Does he have to accept it, or do we just force him into it?
Do you want the position?
We'll just force it.
I will take it.
So moving to a roll call vote. Tim Canada?
Yes.
Kristen Giangrande?
Yes.
Dan Rando?
Yes.
Maggie Woodward?
Yes.
Matt Grant?
Yes.
So now I will turn, congratulations Matt, I will now turn the meeting over to you as the elected chair of the school committee. And the next position will be the vice chair position.
All right, I will entertain a motion to accept the nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Tim Canada.
I will second.
Any other nominations? Any discussion? All right, do a roll call vote.
Tim
Matt.
Canada, yes.
Matthew Grant, yes.
Kristen Giangrande, yes.
Dan Rando, yes.
Maggie Woodward, yes.
And what we have, just secretary, that's it, right? So the next position that we'll get a nomination for is secretary. I will take a nomination for secretary.
Nominate Kristen Giangrande.
I second.
Any other nominations? Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Tim Canada, yes.
Matthew Grant, yes.
Kristen Giangrande, yes.
Dan Rando, yes.
Maggie Woodward, yes.
Congratulations.
No idea what you just signed up for.
You bring coffee.
We learn as we go.
All right. So later we are going to discuss subcommittee assignments, right? Yes.
Correct.
Right. So, move on to number 3, recognition. Do we have any recognition?
Yes, we do. I'd like to call Mr. Murphy to help me with this tonight. So as you probably know, every year we have a book fair at the elementary school, which kind of coincides with our Welcome Back to School evening, which happened last Wednesday, right, Mr. Murphy? Thursday?
Yes.
So it's all a blur already. So it's a well-attended event. We have multiple grades who visit the book fair during the school week, and then the families come on Wednesday evening and really start purchasing those books. So every year we have a different parent who kind of organizes the event, and this year Kelly Cedarland was our parent volunteer, did a fantastic job organizing the event. The turnout was fantastic. We had a lot of little helpers helping him out, but very well attended. Just like the event on Wednesday was a fantastic night for our families and our staff. So just want to congratulate and thank Kelly for all her efforts and her hard work in making sure the book fair was a success. Congratulations.
Sorry, I'm
You
like,
want
first
to
to get my phone out.
Thank you.
Any other recognition?
Not formally this evening. I know that, is it next Friday, Mr. Murphy? Next Friday is the start of the month
Yes,
breakfast.
this Friday.
This Friday coming up is the September start of the month breakfast for several well-deserving elementary school students. So I know he's going to share that news with those students coming up soon.
It's a surprise.
I know it's a surprise, but it's coming, so. That's it for
All right.
this season.
All right, we're going to do number 4, approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve school committee meeting minutes from August 18th, 2025.
I move to approve the minutes from Monday, August 18th, 2025.
I will second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, we have public participation. Do we have any public comments this evening? Anybody? Going once? All right.
Can I just double check when I go back to the approval of minutes? We have a set of minutes from the summer meeting that we had tabled because you were looking to for clarification on how everyone had voted. Do we need to go back and approve that set of minutes?
We will, but it's not in here.
Yeah, we do. We'll have to put it in the next month just to get it in the
Okay.
record.
Thanks.
So we have no public comment this evening, no public participation. Do we have any correspondence? Anybody?
I had some correspondence, but we're going to address it later in a policy discussion.
Okay, sounds good. Move on to number 7, student representative report. Noah.
Past information, 6th grade orientation. We invited the upcoming 6th graders to an orientation on August 22nd to show them around the high school, teach them how to open their lockers, and teach them about their schedule, as well as answering questions they may have about what school's like in this building. On the first day of school, we started in the gym for an assembly. We gave some important information about the day. We played a pep rally game, and after this we distributed into our crews for the day. Activities fair. On Wednesday, August 27th, we held our annual activities fair, inviting students grades 6 through 12 to sign up for clubs and sports, as well as offering an opportunity to create clubs that they are interested in seeing in school. Upcoming information, homecoming. On Friday, September 26th, we will be hosting our homecoming dance. The dance will be held from 7 to 9 p.m. We will have pizza, snacks, drinks, and ice cream, as well as the dances for 9 through 12 only. We will also be hosting our annual homecoming spirit week this week, the 22nd through 26th. Class elections. The class elections will be held sometime the first week of October. We're holding class elections for 6th grade, and positions need to be filled in all other grades. Students will be given opportunities to hold the class office positions for the rest of the year. Social media, we invite all community members to follow our social media accounts to keep up with all MBHS Stuco events and activities. Our accounts are Instagram at MBStuco, Facebook at MBStuco, TikTok at NB_Stuco. Stuco meetings, all meetings are open to the school and community. Meetings are typically every other Monday in the high school kiva from 6 to 7:30. Please feel free to join us if you have anything you would like to discuss or would just like to see how things are run. Our first meeting is the 29th, so next Monday also. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Noah. Any questions?
I have a question. No, what are some of the things you guys are doing for Spirit Week?
Today was Crocs versus Birkenstocks. Tomorrow is Twin Tuesday / Squad Day. Wednesday's Stages of Life Day. And then Throwback Thursday and Friday is Spirit Week. We have our pep rally.
So who won, Crocs or Birkenstocks?
That's what we all want to know.
Yeah,
All us older guys are.
I'm a Birkenstock guy myself.
Birkenstocks, yeah.
Our stuff is in style. You didn't do a tally?
No, well, we did do a tally, but I don't have that information.
Okay, we'll come back with it next time.
The Birkenstocks are back.
It's important information.
Yeah, we need that in the report next month.
Birkenstocks with
They
socks.
are back.
Yeah,
Yes.
Something my wife would yell at me for wearing for.
Thank you, Noah.
All right. We have school committee reports. Any school committee reports? Hearing none.
No.
Financial reports.
All right, so this month we have 3 transfers, so it's our quick review, and then the monthly statement that you received in your packets. The 3 transfers were from general fund the first was from general fund to athletic revolve for $27. Second was for $1,320, that was general fund to grant 309. And the last was general fund to rural school aid, and that was for $26,056.01. And the reason that was so large was because we had not set up the rural school aid fund yet. It is now set up, and we're accessing that money to offset parts of the budget that we had talked about going back to last spring. So those are the 3 transfers that you were, again, receiving in your packet. And then is the August statement for your review. Any questions?
I have a question on the rural school aid fund.
Yes.
Is that something that needs to be done annually that doesn't really jive with like when all these bills come due? Is that just a recurring thing that you'll need to look for just down the road? Or is that something that now the account's set up that's...
No, we just, so there's 2 there's rural school aid and small rural. So there's 2, they kind of sound the same, 2 different grants that come into the district. One changes every school year based on different parameters.
Yep.
We talked about this last year. We projected roughly $120,000 for that account. The other one is roughly $40,000, which we get every year. So Ms. Graham was setting up those chart of accounts, and we had not set up that particular one yet. So we were paying for those bills that we had allocated for rural school aid out of the general fund. So now that it's set up, we have that money in there. It's paid for by rural school. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if this was something we just need to keep kind of in the back of our minds. Because I know sometimes the bills come due and, you know, the budget, the annual budget year is not there yet, and there's some weird stuff that we...
Yeah, so we don't, so the 120 that we projected, we haven't got a firm number on that one yet. But even if it's less than what we projected, we have things kind of worked out, so we're in a good space with those 2 funding mechanisms.
Okay.
So I will update the committee once we get that official number, so you know. Most of that grant pays for technology and software.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So these are annual fees for the technology, is that correct? Like
Yeah, so some of that software, and then
Yeah.
obviously Verizon Business, Verizon.
Yeah.
Edleo is our webpage. Alma Technologies is our student information system, our SIS. So that's how we collect all of our student data, how we report to the state. How parents interface with our what's going on for attendance. Mobimax, Mystery Science, and Happy Numbers it's all software that we use throughout the district, but mostly at the elementary school.
Sounds good. Is that all we had for financial reports?
Yes.
Unless you wanted to read through the whole spreadsheet.
Not this evening. All right. Number 10, Superintendent's report.
All right, so I have a couple different parts. My general memo that I attached to the packet with our hires and departures. We are in a very good spot as far as our hires are concerned. We only have 1 position as of right now, and that we have some positive movement on that position. But we are very pleased. We opened school this year with only a few openings, and our principals, our directors, worked very hard to get those positions filled, so I appreciate their efforts, and like I said, we're in a very good spot. You know, I talked to colleagues around Central Mass, and there are a lot of districts, a lot of schools that still have multiple openings, and again, I think we're in a very good spot, knock on wood, but I'm very happy with the hires we've made. We have some fantastic younger teachers fresh out of college, and we have a mix of also very experienced veterans that we've kind of put together, so very happy with the start there. But again, I want to just commend our principals, our directors, our faculty, our staff, our teachers, and our students who are here tonight. We had a great opening. I think one of the better ones we've had in a very long time. very positive 2 days of professional development that were very thoughtfully planned. We started off celebrating some of the tenure of our staff, so we had members of our staff who have been here for 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years. So we recognized their service to the district. And then we talked about some of our ongoing initiatives. And what I'm happy about is that those haven't really changed over the last couple of years. We continue to build a culture of a safe place for our students and our families and for our staff members. We continue to look at bringing in high-quality instructional materials for all kids. And we look at making sure that students have opportunities for success, both at the elementary school level and the junior senior high school level. And then essentially our building principals and our director of special education took different cohorts and worked with those teams for the next day and a half. So again, we started off with 2 strong days and then we welcomed our kids back on August 27th. This year again, we are receiving $40,000 from the state for what is called our Targeted Assistant Grant, our TAG grant. We just submitted this grant last week. This money will go towards continuing professional development for our leadership team and then our teachers around data cycles. So looking at all kinds of student data and making sure we're becoming more of a data-minded school district. Additionally, we'll be looking at working with a software called EDIA, which it's an AI generative company that works with 2 major facets. One is around attendance, and it's giving parents real-time communication and feedback when their child is absent. But then it also helps our schools build their student support team and their plans for these kids who may have absenteeism issues. Additionally, the other component of this software is that it is linked with illustrative math, which we use for our high school math instruction. And what this program will do is guide our teachers and help our students with some in real-time supports. So it gives students questions, responds to their answers, gives them feedback on their answers in real time. Doesn't give them the answers, but it helps support them in their learning. And teachers can program this software to kind of collaborate or calibrate with what the kids need. So we're very excited about that. And then the last part, I think I said those 2. Yeah, that's the TAG grant. On a professional/personal level, I was selected for what's called the Mass Superintendent Support Network, or the MSNN, or MSSN, another acronym for you guys to remember. But essentially what this is 24 superintendents, 3 cohorts of 8. And this is kind of an extension of what I've been doing the last 3 years through the NSIP program, or the New Superintendent's Induction Program. So what we do, we had a day-long convening last week, and now we meet once a month to review a problem of practice. So what that means is we have a protocol that each month, a different superintendent or 2 brings a problem of practice to this confidential workspace to kind of let the team help them work through this problem. So I'll have a turn at some point, but it's another way for us to kind of be connected with members of other communities in the state, and also for us to have for me to have some thought partners when issues come up that I don't have the answer to. So that was last week, and our next meeting is in October. This coming Wednesday and Thursday, I will attend both the first meeting for the Worcester County Superintendent's Association, and then on Thursday morning, it's the Southern Worcester County Educational Collaborative, or SWEC, which is our receiving collaborative. We're one of 17 communities that send students there for different services. So throughout the school year, as I've done in the past, I will be sharing with the committee some updates from SWEC. If you may recall, in years past, we've had a vote on different things. If they have a surplus, sometimes they send money or tuition leverage back to the districts. We've had to do that in the past, but predominantly I'll give you updates on how many students SWEC is supporting and how many students are coming from North Brookfield. And then last but, 2 more things. The STEM grant partnership. I sent out an email today, just kind of giving families an update on some of the things we're doing with our STEM education. I see some of our STEM students are here tonight. But we also received a new company called True Robotics, which is out of Worcester. They were founded by WPI grads. Through another grant opportunity with the Blackstone Valley Ed Hub, we're receiving 31 of these robot kits for our elementary school students. So that that will be just used for our K through 5 students. Our middle school and our high school have 24 VEX robotics kits that they use already. So we keep those separate. The ones for the elementary school are a great entry-level robot kit that kids can kind of learn how to build robots and also program them through some very simple coding programs. And then last but not least, we have our first community outreach meeting tomorrow morning at 9:30. This has been going on for the past 3 years, and it's a great way for us to bridge with members of the community and share what's going on in the school district, and also have them share what's going on in the community and kind of help each other advertise and promote both entities together. So that will be tomorrow morning. We either have that at the elementary school. I sent out an email to the group. What we plan to do is starting in October, sending a bigger email out to the entire district. We do have in-person and virtual options, so you can come and join virtually as well. All right. So the next part of my memo, as Mr. Cannon alluded to, we did some communication about this. If you may recall back in, I believe it was mid or late May, the state passed some new regulations, if you will, around the lottery system for vocational schools. And essentially what they're requiring now for junior, senior high schools or middle school CTE program acceptance is they want a clear policy on how we're advertising, how we're supporting the entry for these students, how we're making these options available. And I will say that in my conversations with the superintendents, I had a conversation with Mr. Brenner, who's the superintendent of Bay Path, last week about this as well. They're still developing their policy because it's a little more involved and robust because they are going to have a weighted lottery system. But what we're doing currently is not really going to change. So just so families know and students know, any student who's interested in going to Bay Path or exploring Bay Path, we allow them to go on the tour. The tour is sponsored and paid for by Bay Path. They send buses. The students travel to Bay Path. We typically have a counselor come to speak to those students here at the school. And then our counselor, Ms. Earhart, will attend a breakfast with area counselors to discuss kind of the enrollment process at Bay Path, which is our receiving vocational school. So the policy that it's a draft, and I'm sure we'll review this again next month, is just kind of to firm up some of the language about what I just spoke about, essentially. Just giving kids the opportunity. And I'll just kind of go through some of the highlights. So the role of the North Brookfield Public Schools is to inform families and students of the opportunity to apply to Bay Path. That's number one. We always support equitable access, and I think if you look at the new law around vocational school entry, the goal, whether you agree with it or not, the goal was to make access more equitable. They're not putting as much weight on the interview. Vocational schools do get to decide if they want to go for a weighted entry, and like I said, Bay Path is not fully decided on their policy yet. But even if there is a weighted policy, a weighted acceptance, the parameters are not going to be so strict where they're going to prohibit students from having a fair chance of getting in. So it really has become almost a true lottery in that sense. So it's not, it's not as much weight, if any weight, on attendance prior to your 7th grade year. There's no, if any weight put on discipline issues prior to your 7th grade year, or even your 7th grade year in middle school. So those are two factors that there used to be more weight for those students, and it would limit some kids from being accepted. Like I said, even in a situation, if they choose to have more of a weighted model, it will not prohibit our students from being accepted. So I think that's good progress in my opinion for this, and I think that we have students who are interested in Bay Path, and we want to give them that fair shot to take a look at those opportunities. One thing I will also add to, and this is on the last page, the career awareness programming. So we have been using a program called MyCap, My Career Academic Planning. So this was something, if you may recall, and I'll just refresh your memories, when we were going through the ICP grant process, we had to make sure that our school counselor had that training. It's used by most districts around the Commonwealth, but basically what it does is the counselor or counselors meet with students as early as middle school and even earlier to kind of talk about what are your goals? What are your goals for school? What are your goals for college? What are your goals for the workforce? So they start to have those conversations even at a very basic level for our younger students. And this program allows us to track that information. So we are using that program. We'll continue to use that program, and you'll probably learn more about it as your students kind of matriculate through the district. But that's the component that if schools did not have that, they had to adopt that program. And we were kind of ahead of that curve. My assumption is that, once we have a policy subcommittee kind of firmed up tonight, we'll review this next month, and we can put this maybe to a vote at the general meeting.
And there's a time frame on this.
Yeah, so it has to be submitted to DESI through the CHAMPS portal by November 1st. DESI did come out last week and say if you needed an extension, they will grant it. They realized that, like many of their initiatives, they didn't give us a lot of answers to our questions, so you kind of figure it out as you fly.
Well, they specifically said there's like no guidance.
Yeah, that was being nice, I guess. But so if we do feel like we need more time, we can definitely get it. I think we're in a pretty good spot. I think we could probably move forward with a policy for approval by November or so next month's meeting. If they come back to us with any revisions, I'll come back to that to the committee.
So there's no change to the slotted number that North Brookfield gets per year, or is that potentially?
No, that's not going to change.
Gotcha.
Any questions about the draft policy?
No, thank you for getting ahead of that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. So we'll have that, I think, probably for a formal vote next month. Next part of my presentation, I'm going to pass the baton to Ms. Malone. Ms. Malone, as you know, has been a 12-year veteran, something like that. Also our STUCO advisor, also softball and basketball coach. But last spring, Ms. Malone traveled to Denver with myself and Mr. Diorio as part of the Applied Learning Cohort. And she's going to talk about a program that she brought in that we kind of learned about last spring, which is a creative and I think more engaging twist on your typical advisory block. So I'm going to call up Ms. Malone to speak about the CREW program.
Hello, everyone.
And that's behind you. You can look on. It was. Hold on. There we go.
So our CREW program, it really came from, like Mr. McCormick said, from the Discovery program. I also have a background in outdoor education and learning. I spend my summers at Springfield College, Camp Massasoit. So that expeditionary learning and adventure education kind of was also brought into this as well. So there's, I think, a lot of things that brought all of this to North Brookfield, so we're super excited to be able to do that for our students. So CREW is really this program that we want to be able to cultivate this sense of belonging with our students. I think a lot of times if you talk to North Brookfield students or faculty, we know this as a really safe space. So this program is just taking that connection to the next level, right? And allowing our students and our faculty to be able to learn through growing and adapting with teachers right by their side. So some of the skills that we kind of go through in this program, and I'll kind of outline some of the things that we'll do to kind of cover those skills. But there's a whole list of those, I think, in your packet. But most of these skills are those employable skills, right? The skills that we want these students to be learning beyond the classroom and be able to use beyond their years at North Brookfield High School. So things like collaborating, talking to other people, taking an initiative, being proactive, time management, all of these things kind of fall under that. So we're super excited to be able to bring these different skills, but coming at them from a couple different avenues. So. The idea of crew was, it kind of comes from this expeditionary learning term and outdoor education. This idea that we are crew and not passengers, right? So we have this kind of opt-in mentality, or we are trying things, everybody's helping, everybody is going to be involved in these new experiences and help each other along the way, which allows these students to be able to hone in on these skills that we're working on. So what we like to also make sure that we know and our students know is what crew isn't. So Mr. McCormick had mentioned that it's kind of in lieu of our advisory program. We found it really wasn't working for our students. It just ended up being this 25-minute block. So the intentionality behind some of these programming and workshops that we're going to do, I think is going to be really great for these students, where they're able to, again, use these skills in a lot of other ways. So these are just a couple things that crew isn't, right? It's not social time, it's not free time, it's not our typical advisory, it's going to be very different and intentional. So some of the things that our students and our teachers can expect in crew, workshops, we call them that in student council, but we also call them programming in the facilitation world. So these programs and workshops are designed around those skills. And those lists of skills were created by the North Brookfield High School teachers. So we were able to generate that list of what do your students actually need and what are the skills that they need to be able to be successful in your classroom, but maybe beyond that, right? So it may not just be how to collaborate and work together one-on-one, but it also might be how to structure a proper essay. We can really turn any skill into a workshop and into a program where it's being reflective in how the students are seeing that. So it's all about the questioning and the debriefing at the end. We're also really hoping to pull our project adventure. So Garrett Kinnan is our PE coach, or PE teacher across the district, also our basketball coach, but he is going to be doing and helping with the project adventure. So a lot of the ropes courses that you might see in the gym as you go by the rock wall, and then the ropes course outside as well. Something also that we're really excited to bring back are student portfolios. This is something that both faculty and staff, I would say students previously who have done them before, really loved this idea of student portfolios, where students are taking accountability for their work and what they do. So they're creating these binders throughout the year of really good work, things that they can do better on, what they can improve on for next time. So these are going to be things that we're going to bring back into that crew and use that within that time frame. MyCap is also something that we're going to be using this time for, as well as second step activities. These are both, well, I should say MyCap is a DESE initiative that Ms. Earhart is involved with, as well as second step, that's our social emotional learning platform that we use. So we'll be pulling different activities from there as well, but then also using crew for students to be able to start to build their MyCap portfolios and start to have those conversations with Ms. Earhart. Just a couple other things, we also think about class meeting times, so those will be rolled into there as well. And reflections are super, super important with this type of education and thought process. So there's going to be a lot of reflecting for students, not just on how they are and who they are and how they interact with others, but how they can take that to kind of other places in their life. So these were just a couple additional some crew ideas that Ms. Earhart and myself and some other faculty members had talked about of using this time. We're obviously still in the very early stages of the rollout program, but our first day was a crew day, as well as we've had a couple since then. So just starting to get kind of our feet under us, but these were just some of the other things that we thought we might be able to incorporate into this programming to really allow our students, again, to make those connections with faculty and some other students. One of the things that I love about our crews is that we were able to lump Our 6th through 8th grade, they are in crews together. The freshmen and the juniors are in crews together, and then the sophomores and seniors are in crews together. So we also have this cross-cutting of grades, which I also think is really important. In this school, they always have this like mentor mentality in here. So a lot of the upperclassmen are always mentoring the younger kids. So that idea of having that mix within those crews, we thought was really important to have. One of the things you might also know in that list is having crew siblings. So hopefully moving through the rest of the year, we'll be able to have middle school and high school mentoring and having that crossover. I'm calling them crew siblings. So we're super excited about some of the ideas that our faculty has come up with and the skills that they really generated. So I think that we're going to have a lot of good programming and workshops for our students to really be able to take those employable skills and transfer them to other parts of their life. Any questions?
If I could just add, thank you, great job.
Okay.
Great job. Ms. Malone does an exceptional job, so a lot of what she just spoke about is an extension of the applied learning that she's doing in the classroom, open site, which is this grade 6 through 8 science curriculum that we adopted last year. So in year 2 of that. So this concept of really pushing it back on the students for their learning, to guide their learning, to guide their kind of connectiveness, if you will, for the crew, is really kind of born out of that applied learning concept. But the other thing that's really cool about this is that, you know, Ms. Earhart and Ms. Malone are doing a fantastic job organizing this, is that this all speaks to our vision of the graduate. You know, what we believe are the core values and the major ideas that kids should leave this high school with, or this school district with, upon graduation. You know, outside of just doing well in the classroom, what's going to set them up for success after high school, whether they go to college, the workforce, or whatever. So I think this is a really fantastic concept. We saw it in action, like I said, last April, and this is our own version of it, where I really applaud Ms. Malone for really getting this off the ground, because this is something that to really kind of parallel what we're doing in the classroom as teachers, as educators, this crew idea, this crew concept is really supporting that whole initiative. So it's great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malone.
That's all you had, 10, right?
That's all I had, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Number 11, Administrators Report. Who's up first?
I'll go. So started with map testing. So we have our map testing that actually just started today. So it's between September 22nd and October 2nd. NBES will be giving the annual fall map test. Map testing refers to the computer-based adaptive assessments provided by NWEA, measuring student achievement and growth in subjects like reading, math, language usage, and science. Known as the measures of academic progress, these tests are used by schools to gather data for informing instructional strategies, setting up learning goals, and tracking student performance over time. So the fall test is the benchmark for the year, and then students will be tested in the winter and spring to look for any patterns or trends across the school. So we're getting that work started now. It's a pretty big task to get everyone tested in a few weeks, but our teachers do a great job mapping it out and scheduling it, and we should be done, like I said, by next week. That's great. Second piece was our Scholastic Book Fair, so I know Ms. Cedarland already left. I put a picture in here, not just because I like pictures, but just to show the amount of work that she did. And I don't think we understand sometimes what a rolling book fair looks like. Set up, breakdown each and every day. The little posters on the top of the cabinets to just make this place inviting, and we're lucky enough to have that great area. We call it the Bell area in the back of the school. where it almost creates a natural bookstore that, you know, couldn't have been done without Miss Cedarland's great guidance. So every morning she would come in and set this up, and it was just unbelievable to see the kids walk through there, and a nice flow to it, and then go over to buy everything. And it's one of those years where you saw a lot more books than all the little doodads walking out of there, which is great. And I just think it was because of the space she created. So another, you know, shout out to her. And just for our students who just did a great job walking through, you know, with their little pockets of change, and some of them had, you know, some Venmo going on, the whole thing, and it was great to see. So it was fantastic. The big Mack truck came today and picked up all of the books and anything that was left over, which wasn't much. So it was a huge success. And from those sales, the school gets Scholastic bucks. So it allows us to enhance our classroom libraries and go through there. So the kids aren't just buying books, they're also enhancing their own classroom libraries, which is great. And then UDL. So we are partnering with Novak Education again this year to continue our implementation of UDL, which is the Universal Design for Learning. It's a framework that helps educators establish firm goals and flexible means. So all students have equal opportunities to access grade level instruction in inclusive classrooms. UDL is a standards-based curriculum framework that ensures that all students have options and choices for learning, the materials they use, and how they share what they know as they work towards firm goals. We are strategically utilizing our after-school meetings, full day and half-day PD sessions this year to give our staff the time and training to maximize the use of this framework within our high-quality instructional materials. Our first meeting was today, so the old school committee room in MBES, the room next to it, we turned into a ID room, which is instruction and data. So we had our first instructional meeting today. Our teachers were given the time and the resources to look at a current lesson plan, and we call UDL it. So the great resources that Novak gives us gives flow charts, little checks that you take the lesson plan and walk through it and make sure that students have these choices and have these engagement strategies within the materials. So it was a great meeting. The teachers shared out afterwards the changes that they're going to try, and then we're going to check in 4 weeks with them when they come back.
Thank you. That's a great picture. How long did it stay like that?
Oh, it was unbelievable to see. When I walk in the morning and she's working on it, I go out to parent drop off. As I come in, it's set up. And she had 2 of her little ones with her, preschoolers helping her too. And then at the end of the day, I'd be walking down the hallway and they'd be all rolled into the library. And
That's a lot of work.
a lot of work she did. It was unbelievable. And there were other PTO members and other people helping her throughout the day, but she was definitely the main cog that put that off the ground.
Sounds good. Any questions? Thank you.
Welcome.
And so for the high school, middle school, as Tim had mentioned, James Darko joined us last week as a science and mathematics teacher. Michael Tift, our middle school social studies teacher, attended a 3-day Democratic Knowledge Project Civic Engagement in Our Democracy event. And this conference, which went on for 3 days, was held in Marlborough and included a variety of resources, lots of exchanging and networking with other folks that are part of this program from across the Commonwealth. And so I still have to follow up with Michael. I think we're meeting on Wednesday. I attended the first day, and I found it to be pretty fascinating. It's an interesting and different way to teach a very important skill to students, and basically how to be a citizen and what it means, how you can impact your own community and the impact that people do have in their own community. 10th and 11th grade students will be taking a field trip to the NECAC College Fair at Mount Wachusett Community College on Thursday, September 25th with Ms. Earhart. And on October 8th, the 9th graders will attend the Mass Makers Innovation Challenge at the Basketball Hall of Fame. This is an event that connect students to local labor markets so that they get an idea to see what kind of industries employ the skills that they're actually learning in their classroom, and therefore helps them to make links not only to careers but to their current learning. As Tim had also mentioned, we began implementing MyCap and did the first mini lesson during the crew period last week. On October 9th, that True Robotics group who brought in those kits for the elementary schools will be hosting a workshop for our 8th grade STEM students. And Ms. Saunders, our music teacher, has shared that there are currently 30 students in the high school band program, and she'll be soon sending out a communication to cultivate donations of used instruments so that we can hopefully increase the inventory in the district available to students. This worked very well in my previous district where I served as a superintendent. Our music teacher, Alyssa Camo, put it out on social media, and we put it out through a couple of other venues, and within a month had received more than 100 donations of instruments. And so for a small school like us, we got instruments from as far away as Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So it's worth it. There are a lot of people who have instruments lying around in their house from their kids, grandchildren, and niece and nephew, and they can put it to good use by passing it on. And Noah had mentioned about the Spirit Week, which culminates with the field hockey game and the dance on Friday.
Thank you. Any questions?
Makes me very happy to hear there's 30 students in the high school band.
Yeah.
We've watched that band grow quite a bit in the last few years, and that's just awesome to hear.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that she's going to continue to cultivate more because it doesn't fit into every student's schedule who might want to do it, and so there are a handful of students who are going to be participating in an after-school aspect of it, but they'll still be able to be performing with the band.
Thank you to the superintendent, to the committee for allowing me to present again this evening. In the Student Services Department, the pace of work has really picked up since the students are back, and I continue to be just awestruck at the close-knit relationships that exist in this town. And when I hear, something like there's 30 students in the band and seemingly a soon to be abundance of instruments, it allows me the opportunity to reflect on the value and connections that exist in a place like North Brookfield that aren't always prevalent in bigger communities, in cities and such. Like all schools, we've submitted our grants applications, and as you've heard, we have successfully been awarded our allocations for the school year. And we'll continue to monitor the spending and make sure that it's allocated in the best interest of the students, families, and staff here in North Brookfield. I talked last time at our last meeting, and you've seen in the report that we have a regional collaboration that's taking place, myself and some other special education directors and directors of student services, to try to understand where we can do things together, where we can be better together, provide better, more robust services for our kids, and maybe save some resources along the way. Our last meeting, it took place last week, and I'll have more information about this for you next month, but we're in kind of conversations around doing some work around transportation. Just discovering that the students that we have in North Brookfield here are picked up by one van company, and they're going to travel through many towns to get to the school districts or to the out-of-district placements that they need to get to. And along the way, there are other bus companies picking up other kids to go to the same place. And it's very possible that some of these vans kind of merge onto the same road and go to the same place. So we're trying to find technical solutions to see if there are students that are along the same path where we might be able to save some of our resources and reallocate them towards other needs, support services, and basically to the benefit of our students. And that's just one example of the, of what we can gain through collaborating with our neighbors. So be on the lookout for next month's report, and hopefully we'll have some good news there. And if not there, maybe some other ways that we can collaborate for better services for our kids. We conducted professional development, as was stated earlier, on the first days of school for all staff, and professional development for new staff that was really focused on the needs of our kids and how we can all work together to service all of our kids without the need for, if it's not necessary, evaluation, assessment, IEP, and special education services. And I felt that those presentations went really well and that they were very well received. On the side of compliance monitoring, a big part of the special education and EL program director's role is we have to make sure that we are meeting with our expectations that we have to submit to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And this is going to be a big year for North Brookfield. We have 2 audits that are taking place at the same time. One, the EL audit of our English Learner program will be taking place on December 17th. And our special education program is under document monitoring right now. And we have, I should say, a number of uploads that we have to do for the department by December 22nd of 2025, and we will be physically visited by the Department of Education in January of 2026. So there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. We have to kind of go back in time to see where things are and what we need, where they were in the past and what we need to do for the future. And then finally, as you're aware, we have our first CPAC meeting of the 2025-26 year that's going to take place virtually tomorrow night. We have a number of folks who are scheduled to attend. Tomorrow during the day, we're going to do one last push out to the community, to faculty and staff, to see if we can get any other takers. And tomorrow will be conversations about what we can do to strengthen the development of a CPAC and how we can be of use to our families, our students and staff through the CPAC lens. So I thank you for the opportunity to present. I'll take any questions that anybody has at this time.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? I have a question. That audit you mentioned, how often is that?
There's different cycles of the audit that take place usually every 7 years, but then there's a mid-cycle. Once you're audited, you submit your audit, and then depending on what findings they have, they come back half the time later to see how you did on your corrective actions report. So it seems like it's supposed to be every 7 years, but to me it seems like every 3 is what it actually.
So was our last one like roughly 3 years ago?
Probably 7.
Oh,
the last
so
coordinated program review. I can get that
I was
for
just
you.
curious.
There's a report that's published online,
Yeah.
but I'll get the exact dates for you and get a report out to the 7.
Maybe 7.
Was it 7?
Well, congratulations on your first year here. You get to do it.
A year packed into a very short period of time.
Right.
But thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Next, here, old business. Tuition task force update. That's going to be me. So since our last school committee meeting, we've only had one task force meeting. It was on September 3rd. We started going over, we went through a lot of numbers relative to, you name it, choice out numbers, what we're spending now versus looking at other districts' numbers, looking at our junior, senior high school. So we still have, and then we also did speak, a couple of us on the task force spoke with a rep from DESE on a conference call just to clarify some information, and she actually has to get back to us with more information just regarding dates, things like that. And also there is some discussion amongst at DESE right now with choice out costs and different things, and I don't know that this is being looked at or not, but when you look at the choice out, I know we're talking about tuition, but choice out
when you look at that, it was created in 1991 with that price of $5,000. So I don't know that they're talking about changing that amount, but it sounded like that could be something they're discussing. Because it is 30-something years old, and at the time that was supposed to represent 75% of the student cost per year, which obviously now that's nowhere near 75%. So we're waiting to hear back from her on some of that, and then we just have a few other numbers to button up, and we're hoping the goal is just to have 1 or 2 more meetings, then we'll come back hopefully in October to give a final report on all the findings all the information that we discovered. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. All right, policy, I don't think we have anything on policy we did discuss that we're gonna address this exact policy issue, yeah. So if we have no policy issues, we'll move on to the next item, new business. So we're going to go through the subcommittee assignments. So we have 4 subcommittees. We have the policy subcommittee, curriculum, building and grounds / safety, and the negotiation subcommittee. My opinion is that we kind of just start fresh. Unless I think we do have something ongoing you and I would have to definitely stay on for.
Yeah.
But other than that, we could, why don't we just go through them and then it'll probably be the easiest. So for policy, does everybody understand subcommittees and what we do on the subcommittees? Any questions before we, does anybody have a particular interest?
Curriculum.
Okay. Anybody else have any particular? You look like you like.
I'd like to do that.
You know a thing or two about that. All right. So, just trying to think how we should do this then. So for policy, let's go in order here. Do I have a nomination? Do we have to do it now? We do have to.
I think we could just
pick and then vote on total.
Yeah, I mean, we could, if someone's
I prefer
super to being on the policy committee and someone else wants to be on the policy committee, I think we could just say.
So I prefer that we pick our 2 for each, and then we just do a total vote at the end. That's, or we could vote one by one, but.
That's fine.
Yeah, so policy, is anybody, nobody seems to be jumping at this policy subcommittee. Maggie, all right?
I'll join Maggie on the policy subcommittee.
I was gonna say I could too. All right, so we got Maggie and Tim. Policy, curriculum, I know Kristen was interested in doing that, so we have 1. I'll throw my hat in the ring, as always. I'd like to learn more about it, so. Myself and Kristen for curriculum, building grounds, I know we have Dan. Are you interested, Tim, with your background, or do you?
Yeah, I mean,
You don't want to quite off too much yet.
no, I'd do it. I think that you and I should stay on negotiations.
Correct. Yep.
But I'm fine with doing building and grounds. Working with Dan on that one, unless anyone else is.
So that
super
puts
excited
you
about
on,
that.
how many does that put you on?
That would put me on 3.
I don't,
Yeah, you don't need to be on 3, that's why I'm.
I have no problem doing the building and grounds
Okay.
as well.
So we have building grounds, and then negotiation, you and I will stay on that for now, and we can always revisit later if we need to. All right, so I'll take a motion to.
So to be clear, we have
2 on each.
me and Maggie on policy. Kristen and you.
State all this in your motion.
All right, so I would like to make a motion that we approve the following roster, and correct me as I go through, just so we can be clear on this. Following roster, so we have myself and Maggie on the policy subcommittee. We have Matt and Kristen on curriculum. We have Dan and Kristen on building and grounds. And we have myself and Matt on the negotiation subcommittee. So that's my motion, is that we approve the roster as I just said, because I just forgot it again.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Does everybody think that's fairly divided? Anybody want to do something they didn't?
I know you're only on one, but don't worry, there'll be.
This is your first-
There'll be other
This is your first year.
opportunities. We already have an assignment on the policy subcommittee, so
Yeah,
that's.
there you go. And she, in all fairness, she is on that.
And she's on the task force, so she's got her.
Attending a few meetings here. All right, so we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor? If there's no other questions or discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. All right.
Teal, did you get that whole list there?
I did.
Okay. All right, so no executive session tonight, correct?
Correct.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
Anyone like to discuss whether we go
Okay,
home?
first wonder.
Get you another copy of Robert's rules.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're good. I do actually.